All right, what up, guys? Back at it with another crypto video. You already know. All right, man. So what we were getting into is these Fed minutes. What's happening with these Fed minutes? Oh, Market wants me. That's it. We're taking it somewhere else. Twitter. You hear the doggies barking in the back. They're barking because of the Fed minutes. What are the Fed minutes? Everyone's talking about them. Fed minutes in short. Please core inflation come down to 2% without a recession, please. Let's see what these people are talking about. Fed minutes. We want to see core sticky prices decelerating. Commodity drawdowns are not enough, guys. But hey, anyway, let's hope that hiking Fed funds to 3.5% and keeping them there for a bit will be enough to kill inflation. We really want core inflation down, but want to hike to 5%. Well, Fed minutes. So it takes us back to the core of it. Fed minutes. Participants agreed that there was little evidence that inflationary pressures were easing and that the situation would take a long time to resolve. Uh, if you see here, you can see the drastic jump. Um, but then all goes back down. So this is a bearish market. This is not bullish. Um, Tomorrow's Fed minutes will indicate that inflation is the only concern. Let me close this window. Anticipation for ongoing rate increases, but risk Fed could tighten more than necessary. Fed minutes were unsurprisingly dovish. Our model says so, at least, but not major news. What interested me was the discussion about those worried about hiking too much and those worried about not hiking enough. Let's hit up this Bloomberg article. What? I'm not enabling nothing. Fed minutes. Many officials saw risks Fed could tighten more than necessary. Fed officials saw a slower pace of rate hikes at some point. Many officials saw risk Fed could tighten more than necessary. All participants decided on a 75 basis point interest rate hike on July 26th and 27th. Contrary to Powell's claim of being at neutral, there's nothing in there indicating neutral, rather being short of neutral and the need to go to restrictive. What was Powell smoking at the July presser? Juice markets up ahead of midterms? Federal Reserve officials. Everybody wants me to get their free accounts. I'm not doing it. New York Times. Investors will be reading minutes for clues as to what would cause Fed to go with another substantial rate hike in September. Readout of the meeting may cause offer insight of of the kind of data Fed officials would need to see to support unusually large increase. I don't think. Let's see. India Times. Federal Reserve officials judged in July it would eventually be appropriate to decelerate the pace of interest rate increases while evaluating the effects of their tightening actions due to date. As the stance of monetary policy tightened further, it likely would become appropriate at some point to slow the pace of policy rate increases while assessing the effects of cumulative policy adjustments on economic activity and inflation, according to minutes of the Federal Open Market Committee's July 26th and 27th meeting. Released Wednesday in Washington, many participants remarked that in view of the constantly changing nature of the economic environment and the existence of long and variable lags in the monetary policy's effect on the economy, there was also a risk that the committee could tighten the stance of policy by more than necessary to restore price stability. Fed officials raised their benchmark interest rate by 75 basis points at that meeting for a second straight month, marking the fastest pace of tightening since the early 1800s in a battle against red-hot inflation. Even so, the S&P 500 index of U.S. stocks has risen about 9% since July gathering. Wow. So no matter what, when the stock, okay, and even though it's only risen 9%, it's still kind of crucial to what's going on with the minutes. Fed officials will have a chance to offer fresh views on the outlook during their August 25th, 27th retreat in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. The language used in the minutes echoed what Powell said at the press conference after July meeting. His comments ignited the move higher in stocks when he suggested that the central bank could transition to smaller rate hikes going forward. Even so, he left the door open to another unusually large increase at the next meeting in September, depending on the economic data to be published in the midterm. A Labor Department report published August 5th, which showed companies added 528,000 employees to payrolls last month, more than double what forecasters were expecting, prompted investors to bet on a third straight 75 basis point hike when the Fed meets September 20th, 21st. Participants judged that a significant risk facing the committee was the evaluated inflation. Inflation could become entrenched if the public began to question the committee's resolve to adjust the stance of policy sufficiently. But the department's August 10th readout on consumer prices showed they rose 8.5% in the 12 months through July, down from the 9.1 increase the month before that marked the highest inflation rate since 1981. July inflation figures gave legs to the stock market rally as previous bets on big rate hike in September were unwound, and investors are now assigning similar odds to half-point or three-quarter-point increase according to prices of futures contracts tied to the Fed's benchmark rate. August numbers on jobs and consumer prices are due out before the September meeting. So it looks like we will have to wait and see what happens at the end. Was it 8 days away from now in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, when the Fed officials get together. See how their meeting went. Also, even if the the central bank transitions to smaller rate hikes, an increase at the net at the an increase of unusually large. Uh, excuse me. A Labor Department report published August 5th, which showed companies added 528,000 employees to payrolls last month, more than double what forecasts were expecting. Well, okay, so then if unemployment rises, that would mean it is bearish. And if employment increases, that's bullish. Got you. Love it. It's beautiful. So hopefully we're all on the same page here. Lots going on in the cryptocurrency area. All right, man. But yeah, man. Let's see. Google Fed minutes. Get your research on. Watch my videos. Thanks, guys. To the moon, to Mars, we all stars. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get the game on. Go play. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on. Get paid. Later, guys. Peace.